going on, everyone? Today we're here with Mr. Eric Osborne. He's with HereSeattle.com. Now, Eric, thank you for joining us on the show.
Hello, happy to be here.
All right, Eric. Now, I heard about HereSeattle.com, and they help African Americans get involved with tech and other things. Can you explain a little bit more about the company itself?
Definitely. We are a nonprofit community that's focused on getting more people of color in the tech and creative roles here in Seattle specifically.
So what are the challenges that you have in getting people of color involved in the area of tech? Because from we know, that's predominantly a white male dominated field.
Well, I mean, it's one of those things. It's kind of the similar thing that happens everywhere, where when you start a company, you typically hire your friends. And then when you need people, you go to those same people and say, you know, who do you know, and all those different things. And before you know it, you have a lot of people who look just like you kind of working in those jobs as usual, because tech and creative is such a newer industry as a whole. You know, it's one of those things, how it always happens as industries start creating people who are kind of leading it, that top percentage people that's leading things, usually white males. And then they start thinking about everyone else kind of later, I would say.
When you are a black man and you are involved in tech now, is the job opportunities scarce for you versus, let's say, a white male or Asian male?
I mean, you know, as a white or Asian male, there's definitely a lot more opportunity. The barriers to entry are easier. I mean, typically people they're not skeptical about hiring you on a team or anything like that, because you actually always fit the culture, in a sense, or culture in their eyes. So it's a lot easier for you if you're white male or Asian, for sure.
So they don't care about how much education you may have. Let's say even if you got an Ivy League degree, they don't care about that. It's all about the culture for them.
I mean, that's an excuse that people make. I mean, I can say that if you are an amazing technical person, you should have a place in. It will be difficult. If you had a white male and a black male, same education, same job, same experience, same everything, the white male is it's gonna be a lot easier for him to get a job. I mean, most of the people, he's probably gonna have people in his network working in it, all those different things that can help introduce him to people, all those different things. Before Here Seattle and in this community, it wasn't something that was going to connect you with the tech industry. So it's always hard, I think, getting a job pretty much anywhere now if you don't know somebody within the company, right? Without knowing someone from that from HR or someone that works on the team. That's usually how people get jobs these days. I think it's a statistic say that 70% of jobs come from people you know. If it's like that, where everyone working in that industry is white, then most likely it's just naturally going to be difficult for us, right? But we're trying to change that for sure.
But what you're telling me, and I'm just listening to you,
yeah,
it doesn't sound very encouraging if you have a tech degree or something in that field, unless you're going to start your own business.
You know, I would love to say, I mean, me personally, I want to see more of us start more businesses, but that number is even lower, to be honest, when it comes to tech businesses and getting funding and all those different things. That number is even lower. I mean, you know what, it is very discouraging, but I think the great thing about black people in general is that, I don't know, when it comes to this game in America, I think we're somewhat used to it. And even though we're kind of tired of it at times, I mean, we know that we're going to have to work to get into things. But I do think that the tech industry as itself, as a job, or a tech role as a job, is a great industry for black people to go into, just because it's the future. It's the future. Every company has a pretty decent tech department, whether it be IT or actual like building software or something like that. They have a large tech department that's growing, and that's usually the way to innovate a company. So no matter what, no matter what the barriers and all that stuff, they need us. Like, they need us. They need Black people to be a part of this industry. I mean, Black people, we buy all the technology. We kill it on social media. We kill it. We buy all the products. We're very tech savvy as well. So they need us to be a part of these conversations so that they can build better products.
And it's kind of sad at the same time. Now, you live in Seattle, or your company is based in Seattle, and it's supposed to be a Caucasian liberal area that's supposed to be the Black community's friend, supposedly. But yet you're fighting for jobs for Black people to get in a supposed liberal area. Isn't that interesting?
Oh, it's definitely interesting. And I mean, Seattle, you know, with everything that's going on in the past year, Seattle is a great place in a sense for Black people to be. You do have a lot of people that's fighting for different equality issues and all those different things. But when it comes to this tech sector in general, I mean, it's held by that 1%ers and all of those people that are very high up on the food chain. You know, those people don't always care so much about, I would say, us in general. The thing that they care about is making more money, I think. And so the issues of diversity and all that stuff, some people really care about it, but overall, I can't say that companies in general are caring, to be truthful.
No, they don't care, because if, for instance, I'm in a major, you know, Fortune 500 company, I want access to every group that's going to bring in, you know, good talent, and also reach out to those communities. So it would be smart to say, let me bring on people from every community so I can at least talk to them and get their input on things, so I don't make mistakes, so I don't do something that's offensive, or, you know, just get good input. I mean, that would just be a good way to go. So when you say they don't care, you're right. They don't care about other groups of people. They just care about themselves, and they show that in their hiring practices. So if somebody went to hereseattle.com and they had the qualifications, how long it usually take them to possibly get a job? Okay, I
mean, you know, we have some really good sponsors at Here Seattle: Microsoft, Google, you know, Base 2 Solutions, Aquin, and other companies, F5, that are all like looking for diverse people. The one thing about our sponsors that a little bit or what Here Seattle look for in a sponsor is a company that is not only actually willing to work on the overall problem of diversity. So companies that want to get involved in the community, that want to speak to kids and mentor kids and all those different things, because if we truly are going to make or move the needle, it actually is a lot more effort that needs to be going on. It's something that we need to speak to more kids. You know, one of my big passions is young Black males, Latino males. You know, no one's really talking to that sector about technology and stuff. And so, you know, the companies we work with, they're putting money towards those things so that kids of color have a better future in the industry and those things, as well as making avenues for people to find jobs. When you come to Here Seattle, what we do, we're not necessarily a recruiting company, and I want to say that up front. But what we do is we're the community. So when you move to Seattle, if you're from a diverse area like Atlanta, Virginia, you know, North Carolina, I mean, all the different diverse areas on the East Coast, you come to Seattle, it is a culture shock for you, for sure, right? Which is the reason why we started it. But Here Seattle gives you a place to actually connect with people who look like you, who work in your industry of tech, tech professionals that can help mentor you, as well as, you know, you have a place to like communicate and talk and be yourself when you're not at work, right? Because a lot of times when you are at work, unfortunately, just the way the industry is right now, you're going to be one of two, maybe a few Black people, unless you're at a very large company like a Microsoft. But on the most teams, it's going to be only maybe one, two. Same thing with women. And so Here Seattle gives you an opportunity to connect with people that work in the industry, look just like you, that you can communicate with about all your experiences that's going on. It gives you an opportunity to, like, you know, just have community, have a person to hang out with on the weekends, and someone who understands what your kids may be going through if you are in a neighborhood that is not diverse, and coming from areas where it's a lot of Black people. I don't know, we need it. I was born and raised in Florida. I moved here from Los Angeles, and it was a huge culture shock when I got here, to the point where I almost left, but we created Here Seattle, so that's what kept me here.
It's not a recruiting website. Basically, it's for you to connect with other, Black people in different companies all over, Seattle that's dealing with being the only Black person on the job, and so on and so on. Am I correct in saying that?
Exactly. I mean, it's a community. Imagine it, if you are a Black lawyer and you come to pretty much any city, you could find a group for Black lawyers, right, in the area that understand, you could talk to them about professional stuff, you can talk to them about personal stuff, but you have that kind of industry. When it comes to tech and creative area sector, we didn't necessarily have that, and it's something that's just needed across, for the overall community of Seattle as a whole. But I think individually as people, we like to be around people that look like us, that understand the things that we have to go through, and it just helps us. It helps supports us.
Yeah, and especially in this trying time, we better get around more of each other and unify, because there's some craziness going on in this country. For me, growing up in the South, I've always been around a lot of Black people, of course, all people as well, but I guess diversity is the word you want to use.
Yeah.
It's all groups of people. Respect all groups is fine, but for me, I don't think I could deal with Seattle, because I've heard a lot about it. I can probably be in there a day or two and say, okay, I gotta go. I said, because I need some good food and culture. So,
Seattle is so interesting. Seattle is like the face of Seattle is like Martin Luther King. King County is the logo for Seattle, and King County is Martin Luther King, which is a very interesting thing to me, right? The people here in Seattle, I can't say that they're racist and all those different things. Like I grew up in the South too, and they're a lot more passive here. In the South it's more blatant, which I appreciate a lot more than passive. But the truth of the matter is that more than anything you have here is a lot of people who just haven't been around a lot of people, not around a lot of Black people. So they're nervous. They're not necessarily racist. They're just more ignorant or just nervous about that whole interaction and don't know what to expect from me, and I don't know what to expect from them, type of thing. And so one of the things that we do here in Seattle is we have corporate mixers where we actually bring a lot of people of color to your space and mingle with all of your employees. What this does is give the diverse community an opportunity to really just see the space in a very, very comfortable setting, be able to talk to people about different jobs and things, and how to actually go about applying for the company. It gives the population, the company's population, an opportunity to mingle with a diverse crowd, to actually talk to people of color who actually can speak their language, whether it be very geeky tech stuff or even just like stuff. Some of our people in our community, even though they're Black, they like rock music and stuff like that. I don't necessarily like that, but they like those things. So hey, they can talk about those different things. But what it does is just kind of opens that door for people to just be able to co-mingle and cohabitate and realize that, it's not that bad. It's actually kind of cool when we have a lot of different types of people in this space, because a lot of people just don't even know, right?
Right. I thought that's quite ironic that you mentioned, the Dr. King, and yet you're not practicing what Dr. King would actually practice by what you're saying that goes on there with being one or two Black people instead of being, equal for what he tried to fight for.
Yeah.
So, Eric, I definitely want to thank you for, joining us on the show today. I really appreciate it. Could you give people more information on how to get in contact with you and what they can do if they live in your area?
Definitely. You can always contact me, Eric, at hereseattle.com. That's HERE Seattle.com. Our website is www.hereseattle.com. Again, HERE. if you are a person of color, you definitely should come down. Latino, Black, you definitely should come down and check out one of our events if you're in Seattle. We hold several events a month at all different types of events, from mentoring events to professional development events, as well as corporate mixers and things like that. But before I go, is one thing that I wanted to talk about. I mentioned it earlier that, one of my big missions now is young Black males and brown males, Latino males. It's very important to me that any African-American male that is professional, that's doing something with his life, no matter what it is, it's important that we bring somebody else with us. I do my best to try to mentor and speak to as many kids, Black males, about the tech industry, because it's a great opportunity. It's a great thing for them to think about for the future. Despite the barriers that's in place right now, it's people like myself working to break those down. So I want the young kids to be knowing about this industry. But for all the Black males that are adults, I want you to find a young Black male that is not, that doesn't have a lot of guidance, and I want you to help him professionally. I want you to help him, give him a leg up, give him advice. I want you to be there for him, because we all need to bring somebody with us. No matter what we do, we need to bring other people with us. That's the one message I really want to get across. And then when it comes to young Black males and Latino males, really the only thing that people really try to do, I feel like, is keep us out of jail or give us kind of low-level jobs. But we truly could do so much more. So it's up for us as the leaders of our community to step up and say, you know what, our young kids could do a lot more. And you know what, if you're not going to help, I'm going to help, and step up and start helping.
I believe in that. Definitely bringing people up with you. You can't go to the top alone. And I think if we have more of a village mentality within our community, we won't really even have to have that conversation instead of looking out for self. But thank you, Eric, and make sure guys get in contact with him if you are in the Seattle area or you decide to move out there. God bless you if you do, with culture shock, especially if you're coming from an area like Houston. And join them and let them know what you got going on. If you're a professional, if it's a job out there that you're trying to get, and they'll take care of you.